when Judy Keenan, where are you, Judy?
I'm over here now.
Let's first we'd like to salute Judy Keenan. She is responsible for applying for the 2014 Love Your Block grant, which was designed to honor Jean and celebrate National Garden Week. I don't know how many mini grant recipients there were. I think we were it.
No, there were there were maybe 20.
Maybe 20. Okay.
And grants are fun to write.
The program is sponsored by the City of Atlanta, and what Mayor Kasim Reed said is Atlanta's secret formula for successful civic engagement resides in the passion and the pride of its residents. And I can't think of anybody who embodies the Love Your Block spirit any more than Jean does.
Yay.
The city partners with the Neighborhood Fund, Hands on Atlanta, and the Atlanta Community Tool Bank each year to support these neighborhood efforts. And the sponsors include the Home Depot Foundation, UPS, and the Cities of Service. So it's quite an honor to be able to do this. And we thank again, Judy really pushed it over the end zone by gathering all the information. And they said in the acceptance that because of her plan, she had a very detailed plan about the bench we're going to talk about and the cleanup and involving the neighborhood. As you guys know, many of you participated in the work days, and because of her diligence, we were able to win the award. I want to thank many of the Garden Club members who could not be with us today, because part of the effort to get us here has been to spruce up this part of the garden and the bench, which is located on the other side of the Patriots Garden, adjacent to one of our championship beech trees. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. I'd also like to thank Paula Henderson. She is our current restoration chair for the garden, and she and her own family and a whole bunch of people have worked very, very, very hard to get the annuals. We have a perennial planting in the back to get the garden into the shape that it's currently in. And those of you, and I know Jean had said many years ago when folks had opinions about what the restoration of this garden should be, Jean felt strongly about keeping it native, keeping the invasive plants out, and we've tried to honor her with that in the plantings that we put into this week. Judy's vision was in keeping with the tenets of the grant. She wanted to combine several things that the Lullwater Garden Club has to do anyway, one of which is are responsible for keeping this garden in good shape. We wanted to encourage their participation in the neighborhood. We have reached out and had much more success in the last several months with the Emory University Environmental Studies Club coming to help us clean up. We've had scouts, we've had neighbors, we've had children. We have a lot of people that come independently, even not on our garden work days. So that spirit is spreading, and Judy was trying to help accentuate that with the grant. We haven't had enough time. Jean's been honored. I know many of you attended her 100th birthday party this year, but we felt as a garden club that we owed her much more than that. Words can't express the contribution that Jean has made, not only to our garden club, but to the state, the herb group. She's done and been everything there can be with regard to gardening, horticulture, and herbs. And we wanted to take that all together and recognize National Garden Week. What we did with the funds that we got from the grant. We planted a perennial garden, as I mentioned. We planted annuals up the front. We completely pruned and chopped down a lot of the invasives. We mowed in here, cut back things so that you could see the May apples. We cleaned up the Patriots Garden and got rid of some of the invasives. We reached out to state and local governments to talk about Jean's commitment to the community, and we have some honors to share with you later about that. We commissioned a bench and a plaque in her honor that will sit, as I said, adjacent to the championship beech tree, adjacent to the Patriots Garden, and we scheduled this wonderful ceremony for you all to enjoy the whole celebration. Now you've got all our goodies. Okay.
I don't know if I have the one.
No, there's a couple. Not that one. Give me the big one. We have 3 proclamations to share with you.
Here's this one.
I have a letter from the governor. Okay. It's all right. And first and foremost, this is just amazing. This is from the City of Atlanta, and it is signed by the entire City Council. And
City Council.
all of the City Council members, and it says, in honor of Jean Johnson Givens, whereas the Lullwater Garden Club, a 2014 recipient of the Love Your Block grant in celebration of 2014 National Garden Week, has chosen to honor Jean Johnson Givens by dedicating a bench in her honor in the Lullwater Garden. And whereas she has devoted over 90 years to her love of gardening in Atlanta and has earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in Fine Arts, a Master's of Science degree in Biology, a Master of Nursing degree in Teaching, all from Emory University. That's not a small thing. She was an instructor at the Biology Department of Georgia State University, and in the foreword to one of her books, she indicates that was her most favorite job. Jean is an accomplished author of many articles, poems, and books, including Through the Garden Gates with Jean and Back to Basics, A Guide to Horticulture in the South, which she was asked to write by the Garden Club of Georgia. Her honors and accomplishments, evidencing her dedication and expertise in the world of gardening, include awarded Master Gardener status from the first Garden Club of Georgia class in 1979, life member of the Garden Club of Georgia, the National Garden Club, emeritus member of the Lullwater Garden Club, master status earned for the Garden Club of Georgia's landscape design, garden study, and environmental consulting groups, master flower show judge, awarded Garden Club member of the year with the DeKalb Federation of Garden Clubs in 1984, former president of the Lullwater Garden Club, the DeKalb Federation of Garden Clubs, and the Garden Center of Greater Atlanta, the Atlanta Botanical Garden, and member of the Designers Garden Club and the Hummingbird Garden Club. Now, therefore, we, the members of the Atlanta City Council, and on behalf of the citizens of Atlanta, hereby recognize Jean Johnson Gibbons on this 7th day of 2014 in June for her overwhelming contribution to the community in the field of gardening, and honors her on 2014 National Gardening Day.
Yay!
And that's not half of what she did. All right, we also have an honoration from the county, DeKalb County, and this was kind of a surprise. I won't read everything in here because many of the whereases are the same, but the DeKalb County chose to honor her in a very, very special way and surprised us all, and it says, and now, therefore, I, Lee May, on behalf of DeKalb County and its more than 700,000 citizens, do hereby proclaim June 7, 2014, as Jean Johnson Gibbons Day.
It's your day.
As part of our celebration of National Garden Week. So that is a huge honor.
I've never had a day before.
And I also have a letter from Nathan Deal congratulating Jean on her contribution, which we will get framed for you. And I have it here somewhere.
He couldn't do it on our day, I guess.
Well, it was very interesting because I think they were all clamoring to see who could top who. Yeah. But we were definitely recognized, you were recognized by the state, by the city, and by the county, and we're just thrilled to be able to share that with you. Jean grew up in this neighborhood. Her family had owned property since the Civil War. And I mentioned the degrees. I personally am so impressed with that, given her age bracket and knowing how many people, women, had education of her age. It's stunning just to think about that. She was a graduate, as you mentioned, of the first Master Gardener class at the Garden Club of Georgia, and she was the second life member initiated as a life member, which is very, 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 very interesting. All of the things that they mentioned in her proclamation are the sum and substance of many things that she's done. But I think her passion and reading the books, I have two of her books, talking about she and her mother building a garden, a victory garden back in 1942, I think is appropriate this week, thinking back in terms of World War II. She talked about her husband spoiling her and supporting her in terms of providing her with books for her passion. And I think she mentioned that she considered herself more of a collector than a designer. But she has done so many things to remind us of what the bounty of nature is and how we can keep that close and how that can be enjoyable as well as good for the community. So on this Jean Gibbons Day, we have chosen to dedicate the bench, and Judy's going to take folks back there. We will gladly either get you wheeled that way or back up there and delivered. I want you to see where it is. And this plaque is going to reside next to the bench, and it's taken from one of Jean's works. It's a bloom, and may your roses always bloom.
Oh, yeah.
So congratulations, Jean. And thank you all so so very much. I know we have family members and garden club members